to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. It's Tuesday. It's 1 o'clock my time. So that means it's my turn to go live again here, right here on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. Excuse me. I think it's going to be quite a short-ish live today because I've got paint stripper currently stripping on several items here, and I want to try and get it off before I go and pick my kids up from school, which is in a couple of hours. So I am going to do a really quick live here, and I'm going to show you something that I intended on showing you before Christmas. So I don't even know when it was, because I got super ill just before Christmas. Well, in December, and then there was Christmas and all of that. So I had a few weeks off. But for anybody that saw me, I don't know, like maybe late November, you might remember this piece. So this is a little drum table, little side table, tea table, side table, that I picked up in a second-hand shop near me. And I'd already painted it and put a transfer on it, finished it, staged it, everything. And then, that was strange. My screen went black for a second then. And then it came back. Let me know if you're still there. Can you still see this? Type something if you can still see me. So I got ill, blah blah blah. I've forgotten what I was talking about. Anyway, I'd finished this piece and I accidentally hit the top of it with something heavy and took a big chunk out of it. So, oh, hi Suzanne, hello, can you see me? Right, that was very odd, very odd. My entire screen on my phone went completely black and nothing was happening for a second. So I don't know what, let's blame YouTube. It wasn't me, I didn't touch anything. It's usually me playing around with things that I shouldn't be. Anyway, back to the table. Why do you live? Can I have the reason? So I'm live on the Dixie Belle Paint YouTube channel, painting furniture, because that's my job. So back to the table. Just in case you missed it, it's this little side table, and I had dropped something on it and took a chunk out of the top. So I'm going back and doing it again. Last time you saw it is when I was doing the paint blend on the top. So it's a very, very subtle blend. It's got a very pale pastel blue in the centre, blended out to a darker blue on the outside, which is the colour that the rest of the table is. So that's antebellum blue, which is probably one of my favourite blues. So it's antebellum blue, and I don't know why the camera's decided to go wonky. Come on, tripod, play with me. So the antebellum blue is the darker blue. Haint blue is the one in the centre, and I've kind of like blended them out. Will with a 1 eat salad? Goodbye. Will, maybe you should go and do something useful with your life. Hang on, let me just... This is the problem with YouTube lives. Historically, the weirdos used to be on Instagram. Now they seem to have kind of migrated over to YouTube. So just bear with me while I do kind of just go through the comments. If there's anyone there that needs to go and get a job that's sitting on YouTube in the mum's basement that needs blocking, bear with. So, oh, Will, you still there? You still there? There you go. Okay, I think that's done it. Get a chat mod. I never used to need them. I never ever used to need them on YouTube. And because, like I say, the weirdos used to be on, they started out on Facebook, they migrated over to Instagram, And now it seems like they've come over to the YouTube channel as well. Who has a job, get a career or get a business? Quite. Or just do one of the things. Or you could just sit making weird comments on YouTube about people that you don't know. Bizarre. Am I an Aussie in Australia? No. I'm in the UK. So, furniture transfers. I'm just going to carry on ignoring people. This is the transfer that I'm using. It's already been chopped up, but you can see the scale of the flowers. It's huge. It's massive. So you get 4 sheets in this pack. It's actually probably better if I show you that way. And they're all huge peonies. I think they're peonies. Really, really pretty transfer. This is one of my favourites. And I'm not a purple fan, but I love this transfer. It's really nice. So, this is the piece that I'm going to show you today. The reason I've chopped it up is because this table is circular. As you saw from this is kind of like a portrait transfer. You do get, the sheets are chopped up into 4. So if you wanted to make a continuous design over the front of your piece, you can just piece them together and it makes one huge design. Or you can chop them up and make them into your own design, or make a smaller, you could make several pieces with the smaller pieces of the transfer, if that makes sense. So I'm going to, bear with me a second. How do I, oh, there we go. I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see what I'm doing, because it's quite boring is watching somebody put a transfer on a table. But there we go. I'm lining you up. So I also can't see the comments, which probably ain't a bad thing considering the amount of losers that are on at the moment. So this is the piece that I've already put on. Like I say, I've already completed this table once, so I'm trying to replicate as close as I can to the version that I did first, because it was really pretty and the kind of the placement of the flowers looked really nice. So I've kind of cut a corner off this piece, and that's okay, but I want it to kind of work with the fact that the table is quite round. So I'm going to somehow on the one that I did previously, I had this piece sort of come in here. Now you might notice that obviously there's a piece of transfer here. You can layer them over the top of one another, just because this is where one ends, and obviously, you know, I can't, it's hard to kind of get them to marry up without overlaying, but they will lay over the top of one another. You don't have to just put them side by side. So they are super versatile. What I want to do is make sure that this leaf is kind of the last thing that goes around here. So it kind of sweeps around that curve a little bit. I've chopped it down very, very roughly because I wasn't quite sure how much of this bit I needed to cover this corner. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to chop it down again, just in case. I'm going to take this off. So the way that you apply transfer is obviously it's got a white backing that you peel off once you're ready to stick your transfer down. And then you can kind of get a better idea of placement, because obviously this bit has got a clear backing. So the white backing sometimes can throw you a little bit, but don't press it down on your furniture until you're actually ready to apply it, because if you put it down, there's a good chance it won't come back up again, because obviously this is adhesive. So that is the that's the leaf that I want to make sure that I've kind of got around that curve bit. And I want to get as much of that pretty flower in as possible. So I think I'm going to go. Also, I've got to bear in mind that this is a flat edge. So this was the end of the transfer. And I don't want it to have like a weird, obviously I don't want that to end. I don't want to have like a weird cut off point. So I've just got to make sure. And also, I don't want to cover this flower. So I'm just going to make sure that it's exactly in the place that I want it. And this is why it's quite boring watching people put transfers on things, because it's not the most interesting process in the world. So I hope, because I don't want to do this table again, this is already the second time of doing this. So once you're happy with your placement, you can then like press down. You could then as well, if you wanted to, just trim off a little bit more, just so that it's not getting in your way when you are burnishing your transfer and applying it onto the surface. I'm just going to cut these couple of corners off like so. And then you need your little transfer stick. You get these in the pack with every single transfer. And all it is a stick with a flat surface that allows you to apply even pressure over the transfer. And that is basically going to transfer your piece from this plastic backing onto your furniture. And the way I do it is usually start in a corner and just really slowly start to pull your transfer up. Now, if you can see your transfer lifting with the clear sheet, just press it back down again. And this is why you have to go slow. And this is why it makes such rubbish videos, because it is quite a slow process, especially when it's quite a detailed transfer like this one. You've got to make sure that all of the edges are stuck down before you carry on pulling the clear backing up. So just working really small sections, and obviously this is where the table kind of it edges round here. You could do two things. You could really like trim really closely around here. I have a craft knife. These are really good because they're super sharp, and you can get a little bit closer to the edge than what you can with scissors. I prefer to trim it after I've got the placement of it, because quite often you might trim it and then decide it's not exactly where you want it to be. So you can kind of do that, or you can just trim it all afterwards. It's really down to you. But you've got to make sure that that corner is pressed down. These do go round corners and round bends and stuff, but I'm just going to end mine with the edge of the table, because I'm going to paint the very kind of lip that goes all the way round. I'm going to paint that in gold. So as you get on to the bits that are no longer kind of detailed and jaggy, like the petals and the leaves, we've got onto like the bulk of it, you can start to speed up a little bit, because it is essentially one kind of huge piece. The more delicate the transfer, the more intricate the pattern is or the design is. Generally speaking, the longer it's going to take you to apply it onto your piece. Not always, but generally. Just keep going until you get all the way to the edge. And then just remove the plastic, and that's it. Now what I like to do, because I did trim really closely to the edge, is I just like to run my thumb around the edge to make sure that that edge is kind of pressed down and crisp, and it's not going to lift and you're not going to catch it. So what I'll do to neaten this up is to sand this down smooth, and then I'm going to go over the top of it with gold paint so that it frames the edge of the table and frames the pattern. And then just to make sure that it's down really smoothly, you can squeeze any air bubbles out. You can either do it with your finger or you can do it with a cloth as well. And I like to press away from the pattern, because if you try and do it that way, you might catch the edge of something that's not quite down properly, and you might risk lifting the transfer again. and you can just smooth it out and make sure that it is 100% stuck down on the surface. If you can hear that, I don't know if my camera's picking it up, that's an air bubble. So what you need to do is just swipe it towards the edge of the transfer to get that air pocket out of the transfer. You don't want to lock any air in here. You want to make sure it's completely flat to the surface. Where are you? There we go. I haven't been reading comments when the screen's been down there. Someone says you're beautiful. Weird, because you can't even see me. I'm not even going to read the comments because some of them are most bizarre. I just hope there's some genuine people watching that are interested in paint furniture, not just marriage proposals, because that's what I'm here for. So, oh, my fams, Connie, that's beautiful. The huge flowers worked. Initially, I thought the size would overwhelm, please. Yeah, just because it is quite a small piece, these flowers, the scale of these flowers are huge. But because of the way that I've done it, where they're just kind of creeping in off the side, it kind of frames it nicely without overwhelming it. If I was to put flowers over the entire piece, I think it might be a little bit too much. But the way that it is designed, it actually worked really nicely on the first go round, and it probably would have sold straight away had I have not whacked it with a heavy object and had to redo the entire thing. So I'm going to really try hard not to do that again, because I don't want it to be a take 3 situation. So that kind of just, it kind of accents the curvature of the table. It just kind of goes around, and I think it's very close to how it was the first time. It probably isn't identical, but the chances of that were very slim. But it is similar-ish to the kind of layout of the first one. So what do you do after you've put a transfer on? You need to seal it. So all transfers need sealing, because essentially it is just a giant sticker over the top of your painted piece. Or not painted piece. You don't have to put them on top of painted furniture. You can also put them on top of unpainted furniture if you wanted to add just like maybe a bit of pop colour or a bit of pattern to, you know, an unpainted piece. You can absolutely do that as well. But they do need sealing. So I'm not going to do that now because I've got a couple of other little tweaks that I need to just make to this. But all of the Dixie Belle clear coats are compatible with transfers, so satin, matte and gloss. I'll be using satin on this to give it a nice sheen. Gator hide is not recommended with transfers. There's an ingredient in gator hide that doesn't play nicely with transfers. If you want to use gator hide on something that you've put a transfer on, apply a couple of coats of clear coat first, satin, matte or gloss, and then you can put your gator hide over the top. So gator hide is Dixie Belle's most durable, toughest top coat. So if you did want to put gator hide over a piece you put transfers on, put clear coat down first. You can also use easy peasy spray wax. That's one of the easiest top coats to use in the world. You can also use best dang wax. Anything oil based, avoid. So don't use How to Do hemp oil. Don't use Big Mama's butter. Anything oil based, because what happens is the oil seeps underneath the transfer and it'll lift the transfer. So anything oil based is a no-go. Clear coats, yes. Easy peasy spray wax, yes. Best dang wax, yes, because best dang wax is water based, so absolutely fine. But my personal preference is a clear coat. So clear coat in matte, satin or gloss. I usually do 2 to 3 coats. I'll be doing 3 because this is a tabletop, and I would imagine people will be placing objects on the top of it. So I'm going to be putting 3 coats of clear coat satin over this. That's going to protect the transfer and offer some durability to the piece. And that's it. That's how you apply transfer. It's so easy. And also Dixie Belle, not this particular transfer, not this particular design, but Dixie Belle have got some really, really good reductions on their transfers at the moment. So the one, I shared one yesterday that I did on my page. It's called Bohemian Dream. That is like half price on offer. Some of the other transfers that I've used are also on a very, very good offer. So if you are in the market for a transfer, but you've maybe been put off by the price, but you want to give them a go, now's your time. Time to try them, just saying. You could get one and give it a whirl without breaking the bank, because some of the offers are very generous. So I think I've covered everything. Like I say, I didn't want to sit here for goodness knows how long just rubbing a transfer on a piece. I just wanted to give you the bullet points of how easy it is to add these transfers onto your piece and make them really kind of unique and interesting. So having said that, I'll be back next week with obviously some more weirdos that are going to offer me their hand in marriage and tell me I should eat salad and stuff. Cheers, Will. Cheers for that. It's a good job. I don't care, isn't it? So I'm a lifesaver. Thank you. I've been called worse. Gosh, there are a lot of people that sit on these lives, aren't there, and just put weird comments. What an odd way to spend your time. Anyway, I'm going to go. You're welcome. One person has said thank you. So if I can have helped one person out of all the couple of hundred people that are watching, my job is done. Maybe the other ones I did help, but they didn't say it. I don't know. I never know with lives anymore. People just sit here and watch stuff they don't like. I can't imagine spending my time that way. I'm far too busy. But anyway, each to their own. So I'll be back. It's only a really, really short live, like I say, because I've got chemical stripper on a piece here that I'm working on, and I need to get that off. So I'll be back next week with something different. I don't know what yet, but something different. I'll think of something, don't worry. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel, because you will get, I think, a 24-hour notification that I'm going live. I think Dixie Belle have set that up now. Also, and it's going to be a shameless plug here, but I don't care. Go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got my own little channel. It's definitely not as big as Dixie Belle's, but you know, it's little and it's mine. But my YouTube channel is called Faff Designs, so Faff Designs. I'm a Dixie Belle brand ambassador. Get my words out. I'm a Dixie Belle brand ambassador, so I'm here every Tuesday. I work with Dixie Belle to educate and promote their products. So I'm here every Tuesday. If there's anything in particular that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments, please. You'd love a tutorial on sewing machine tables, cases. I don't have anything. I generally tend to do bigger pieces of furniture. This is about the smallest. I mean, I do smaller pieces, but they're not my personal preference. But I can have a look. But like I say, if there's anything in particular, thank you, Suzanne. You already follow me. Thank you. You get a thumbs up. And I will catch you all next week. Same time next week. Have a lovely day. Bye.